All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Deontay Wilder is crazy and too mentally unstable to get the third fight with Tyson Fury, according to trainer Dave Coldwell out of the UK. Pretty amazing if you ask me, considering that Tyson Fury himself suffers, according to him, from mental illness. Yet I doubt very much anybody would make an argument that he does not deserve to get money that he negotiated. But let's talk about the personal attack on Deontay Wilder and this attempt to try to save Tyson Fury from his own responsibilities in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So it is pretty low down to call somebody crazy or to imply that they have a mental illness as a way to delegitimize them or a way to explain something about them that you don't either you don't understand or you don't agree with. Dave Coldwell, who seems to be a very decent guy, right? Never really heard him say anything that I thought was, where he's necessarily being a jerk or had a bad attitude. Unlike a lot of guys I've seen, around that camp who can be very snide and, cheat, things like that. But anyway, Dave Coldwell usually sounds like a pretty nice guy. And then I go to boxing scene, and I don't know if he said this recently or not, because boxing scene is, it's the end of the year and they're looking for some material to drag up. So they drug this up. And Dave Coldwell is asked about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury in the third fight and whether or not he thinks it should take place. And he goes into, I think Deontay Wilder's crazy. He's a really nice guy. I've met him before. He seems like he has a lot of sense. But to be saying all of these different things, he must be crazy. And so, no, I don't think he should have the other fight. I wouldn't advise that he have the fight with Deontay Wilder with Tyson Fury, because he's crazy because he said Tyson Fury cheated. That's a bunch of hogwash. Complete and utter hogwash. Number one, it's completely ad hominem. It's completely attack against Deontay Wilder. If every time somebody had a complaint, all you had to do is attack them personally, you would never find any truth or any type of justice for people. If Deontay Wilder says, I believe that I was cheated by Tyson Fury because I suspect a bunch of things, and you just say, wow. Now, if Deontay Wilder had just said the gloves and he didn't say the gloves and the water, then I would have believed him. But because he said the gloves and the water, and I don't believe the water, he must be crazy. So therefore, I don't believe the water or the gloves, because the sheer number of things that he's saying make me believe that he's unstable, right? So it's his lack of coherent explanation of how he got cheated, or believable one, that would therefore say, I don't know about him. I think he's mentally unstable. Tyson Fury shouldn't have to take that fight. My problem with that is, number one, two things. Well, it's two things. One, Deontay Wilder can be crazy as a loon. It doesn't matter. Either Tyson Fury cheated or he did not. Okay? If you do not know whether or not Deontay Wilder's water was tampered with or not, you don't know. And that's all you can say. You don't know. You can say you don't see any reason to believe that it was, but that's all you can say. You can't say that you know it's not. So in this instance, Dave Coldwell knows he can't dispel any particular rumor or any particular thing that's said. And yes, and actually when I said rumor, that's probably more correct. Because in the midst of this litany of excuses people keep putting up on Deontay Wilder, no matter how many times Deontay Wilder says that he never said that it was the helmet that bothered him, right? He never said it. He said he didn't know why his legs felt weak. And he has corrected that multiple times. But despite the many times that I have heard him correct that, somehow people keep hearing and keep pointing to the headgear as being one of the multitude of excuses. But if you stop and you say, Mr. Caldwell, he didn't say that. And Kevin Aioli, who says that he did, says he has audio, but he's never sharing it. And even if he said it and you hear it on audio, I would love to hear the context in which he said it. Because when Deontay Wilder attempted to clarify it, nobody believes him when he says that's not what he said. Right? So he goes to 78 Source TV's channel and he says, I never said that. I didn't know what was going on because my legs was feeling weak. My focus was on my leg feeling weak, not on the headdress. Kevin Aioli's pulling something out of there. That's not what he said. And people get words twisted around and may not hear what somebody says correctly. But when they correct the record, you should at least respect it. So why isn't Dave Coldwell respecting the fact that Deontay Wilder never used that excuse? And that he says that he was misquoted. And quite honestly, even with the water, he said, I think you did. He didn't actually blame him. He said, I think you did. I suspect you did. The reason he fired Mark Breland was because Mark Breland threw in a towel when Deontay Wilder told him not to. That seems to me to be very, very sane. If you have somebody that works for you and you tell them not to do something, and despite you having told them not to do something, they go ahead and do it. And when they do it, it affects you in a serious way. Like you're in the 7th round of a fight and you've got another 5 to go. You're feeling like your head's clearing. You think you can make it. And this dude out of the blue throws the towel in and you said, no, don't do it. What is crazy about being upset about that and holding somebody accountable? Mr. Caldwell, that seems pretty sensible. So one of the things that you say is an excuse ain't an excuse because he never said it. The thing you keep pointing to. He keeps saying he said that he didn't say it. He thinks something was wrong with his legs. He's saying he believes somebody put something in his water. He didn't say, now pick it. He didn't say, he said, I think it's something in my water. It's not the helmet. You're trying to say that he said both the water and the helmet. That's not true. You got to pick one or the other that he said. Because when he says, oh, no, I believe that I was groggy, it was the water, it wasn't the helmet, you're misquoting him. Then you say, oh, no, he said it was the helmet. But then when he says it's the water, you want to hold him responsible for saying it's the water and the helmet. No. If you believe he made the helmet excuse, then he didn't say it, then it's about the water. So just say something about the water. Just say, oh, he's making an excuse about the water. Don't say something about the headdress. Because he didn't say it was the weight of the headdress. He said it was the water preventing him from being able to do something as easy as carrying something like that. That is an entirely different meaning that Dave Coldwell would have had to have listened and given Deontay Wilder the benefit of the doubt for. But Dave Coldwell doesn't do that. Dave Coldwell gives he basically just knifes him with a smile. That's it. Knifes him with a smile. Oh, yes, he's a really good bloke. What a great guy. What a nice guy. He's never done anything to me like tried to bite my ear or babble or run down the street naked or something like that would make me crazy. I really like him. I'm really unbiased. But at the same time, despite being told 100 times that he didn't say that the weight of the headdress was an excuse, I'm going to keep blaming him for making the excuse, even though he never said he made the excuse. You know what I mean? But this is the beauty. Y'all ain't got nothing to say about it because Deontay Wilder has a rematch clause, and that rematch clause can screw up this fight that you guys say you're going to make with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, that you say you're going to make. And I don't believe you're going to make it because I don't think that there's a lot of as much money in that fight as they are acting like there is. But anyway, that's my take on the scenario. I don't think Deontay Wilder is crazy at all unless you mean crazy like a fox. Crazy like you're in court and you're going to mediate and you're going to have to work around to something where we get this fight done. Because crazy or not, you do not get to say, oh, he's crazy and run away with $30-40 million of opportunity cost for Deontay Wilder. You don't get to just jump out there and be like, I don't like you. I think I won good enough. No. The contract didn't expire because if the contract expired, they wouldn't be in court right now. In any practical sense, it didn't expire. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.